come on a journey with me, okay? You spend your whole summer mowing lawns, saving up allowance. You save up just enough to get a 2DS and an eShop card for 40 bucks. You pull up around September, you grab that 2DS, you grab that eShop card, and you return home, browsing all the demos, browsing all the possibilities, seeing what games you want to pick up before you pull the trigger. And you come across one that catches your eye called THEATRHYTHM Final Fantasy Curtain Call, a game that really speaks to you because you're a Final Fantasy fan, been Square Enix, and you love rhythm games. So all of those rolled into one is like a dream come true. You boot it up and you're in love. You see these cute little marionette style characters running around a battlefield, taking down enemies. There's this really satisfying feeling when you hit the slide notes to the circle pad, and later you learn about the stylus and it feels even better. And you play it and you play it and you play it and you're out of uses. And thankfully, the game is not too far out and you are in love. Everything about the game feels great. You're unlocking all these awesome songs. You're playing in it day in, day out, and you cannot get enough. Eventually, throughout the next year, Square comes through. They drop a couple songs from various franchises. We're talking Xenogears. We're talking a little bit of Trials of Mana and stuff like that in there. You know what I'm saying? And it's DLC packs, and you get a couple of them that seem interesting, but obviously not all. And then one day, support just completely stops, and you are very sad. You do some research. You're scrounging online like, bro, where can I play more Final Fantasy theaters? Like, what happened to this franchise? You wonder to yourself in high school, and you look it up, and boom, there's a new arcade cab called THEATRHYTHM All-Star Carnival that's pretty much exclusive to Japan. But you know ways. So you hop in the car, drive all the way down to this round one, and you see it, the cabinet. You swipe the card, and you're grinding. You're back at it, right? And this time, you've met people that are in the Final Fantasy All-Star Carnival, so you guys are grinding, playing, having a grand old time. And yeah, it's kind of, it dies again. The service ends. There's no sugarcoating it. The service ends again. And thankfully, Square Enix said, hey, calm down, buddy. Just wait till September 2022. We got a direct on the way. And there it was, THEATRHYTHM Final Bar Line for the Nintendo Switch and PlayStation, funnily enough, not PC. Yet, hopefully it comes to PC. This was me. This is like live footage of me. You just went through basically like a couple years of my life. So, long story aside, let's talk about THEATRHYTHM Final Bar Line and why I think it's the perfect comfort game, whether you're a fan of Final Fantasy or you're just a fan of rhythm games or you just like good music in general. Final Bar Line just feels like this giant musical celebration to everything Final Fantasy has done over the past 36 years at this point. And I can't help but be wrapped up in it all, you know what I mean? I think they've chosen some really excellent tracks across all the different series. I think the presentation is top notch. It's simple, it's to the point. It's easy to get in there and play and have fun from a casual perspective, and it's very fun and addicting to grind from a more veteran player, if you will, in quotes, perspective, because we'll kind of get into some of the reasons as to why later. So here's the conundrum that I ran into while I was trying to review this game. How do you review a very good rhythm game, right? It's not too complex in terms of gameplay mechanics. You have your hold, which is the green buttons, your slides, which are yellow, and your triggers, which are red. And the way it works is when there's red, you press a button. When there's slides, you slide the joystick. And when you hold down your trigger button. And that is the game. Like, that is literally it. You do it to the beat of the song. And all the maps, for the most part, even Supreme difficulty, are extraordinarily well balanced. They hit all the exact notes that I'm expecting them to hit. And even when there's offbeat notes, usually in the expert to basic maps, they fit and flow perfectly. Like, everything about it just works and it sounds great. So a new question approaching this review became, why is it that this game in particular, more so than any rhythm game I've played in the last couple of years, was so addicting? And it boils down to its inherent Final Fantasy mechanics that are kind of seeped into the gameplay and woven a little sneakily, if you will. So the game, the way it works is you have series quests, right? You go and choose whichever Final Fantasy game you want to start with, and you play through them. And throughout the songs you choose, there's various quests that are in each song that, give you different items and rewards depending on how you complete them, Stuff like defeat 10 enemies, make sure you hit 80% criticals during a song, or defeat this boss. And you would get various rewards scattered throughout as you finish them. Some are collector cards, which are these, cool little collectible cards basically that you get. Some could be a summon, right? Some could be items to give you XP bonuses or to put back into your party members. You get just all this other stuff. And as you unlock these series and complete them, you also unlock more party members and bonus songs to play once you're done. So when you go to the music stages where you just want to, chill back, grind, and play the song of the day, for example, and get more rhythma, which is your experience, get into this loop of coming back to the same songs over and over and over again, and kind of learn to appreciate just all the music and the work that goes into making Final Fantasy songs and making them hit the way they hit, and all the other Square Enix titles, as we'll get to shortly. And that's without even bringing up the all-time GOAT mechanic of THEATRHYTHM, the back carrier, if you will, the party system. As I mentioned earlier, you have to defeat a lot of bosses in this game, and to defeat them, some teams aren't going to come cut the mustard as much as other teams can. Yes, you can play on expert and run through with your Final Fantasy VII team and have a good old time, or you can start experimenting and figuring things out, you know, and trying to piece together a team that could basically nuke a bunch of bosses at once, considering some are going to ask you to defeat 2 bosses in a single song and things like that. You can imagine how much craziness gets going when you start finding various team comps. You could go for a full physical build where everyone has these screen wiping, ultra devastating attacks that only appear when bosses are, so you have them basically to annihilate bosses and run through them and just have this grand old explosive battle as you're playing climactic boss fight style songs. Or you could play the safer option, the mage route as I call it, having a team of 4 or 3 very strong mages that play off each other, one buffing everyone, one who's there to nuke bosses, or 2, and then 1 to debuff everyone on the field while dishing out a slight amount of damage. And then you could have a final warrior who's just an utter tank, or a tank to make sure damage is nullified when you guys take it, or a healer to heal you guys as you maybe drop a couple notes here and there. There is an endless amount of ways to go about approaching every single song in the game, and that naturally lends itself to pretty much endless possibilities and endless replayability, which is very important for a rhythm game, because not only do I love the music, I also kind of want to see how far I can go, how many enemies I can take out, how many treasure chests can I gain to get experience and find more collector cards and all this other crazy stuff. And that's where the game gets ridiculously fun, and it keeps rewarding you and giving the players exactly what they want from it. And then, of course, you have your song of the day, which is basically where you can go and grind it for extra rhythma and, of course, more XP. And it's just a cool way to maybe replay and revisit some songs you might have maybe not had fondness for or tried, and now you want to go try it on a harder difficulty, or, you know, just give it a chance for the first time, right? And it doesn't even take into account all the other great stuff and the social element that it goes into with like multi-battles, where you can go online and fight other players, whether it be with items on or off, or as they call them, burst. And the bursts are, you know, very disruptive when on. They can freeze your score, or, you know, cover up when the notes are appearing on the screen and stuff like that. It's absolutely ridiculous. Or you can play with burst off, and it's more of a true test of skill, if you will. But playing with all these various people online, everyone swaps cards back and forth, right? So you get to see what other summons people have, and if you know, collect those cards and exchange them with other players and open up sessions where people can trade back and forth, you might get a summon stone out of it. You might get cool, unique things that other people have that you don't have. And I think that's kind of a good stopping point. Final Bar Line is just a perfect comfort game, and with all the stuff I've been going through recently, I won't get too into it. I really needed this, you know what I mean? I really needed just a chill game to play where I can just keep trying at it. I know I'm dropping notes, I know I'm failing some songs, but at least I'm having fun, man. At least I'm having a good old time while doing it, and I think that's the most important factor. So yeah, that's basically gonna do it for me. I hope you guys all enjoy this video and everything that we kind of talked about here. If you guys liked the Final Fantasy mood and what we're setting up for, stay tuned. I got a lot of big stuff planned for Final Fantasy's 36 asterisk anniversary. I meant to do this the 35th, and I got a job, okay? Don't blame me. I was genuinely preparing all this stuff. I will show you the Steam library soon. I bought every Final Fantasy. I was really getting ready to review and cover these games, but I couldn't because I was working, and that's going to be stopping soon. So we will be back. We are going to be back doing some awesome stuff for my anniversary, if you will, of Final Fantasy, and to celebrate the launch of FF16. And this was a great way to kick it off. Go by THEATRHYTHM. Please subscribe to my channel and help me out. And I wish you all a very awesome day. Take care of yourselves. Peace.